So welcome back to episode 3 of What's Next in Cars. I'm back here with Rob.
Hello.
I'm Beau. And let's dive into the news from this week. There's
Alright.
not been too much news, but we do have some pretty cool things.
Let's go for it.
Let's start off with the release of the Aston Martin Vanquish Volante.
Ooh, that's a pretty car.
It's a really, really cool car. So basically it's a Vanquish with the roof cut off.
Well, let's start with the name first, Volante. How
Aw.
beautiful that sounds, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of cars have like Spider, Roadster, whatever. I do have to say that Maserati with Cello is a good one too.
Cello is very good.
But Volante has been around for so long.
And I think just from, if you're selling on to the American market, it's easier to call, for an American to call it the Volante instead of it Cello or Cello.
Yeah.
Sorry, Americans.
Yeah,
But
but true,
yeah.
true. But indeed, Volante is a beautiful name. And it's a beautiful car. Aston Martin really managed to nail these things.
They're really pushing and they're really going out.
The
with these
latest
cars.
Vantage
Yeah,
Volante is already a coupe, and Volante is a beautiful car design-wise. Interior, big step up. DBX 707 is big step up.
Yeah, because
compared to
that was the main
previous one.
complaint with like the DBS Superleggera is that the interior isn't
It
special
was-
enough. It's not nice
exactly.
enough.
It was still feeling old, you know. When
Yeah.
you get in, you're like, is this it? When you pay 300,000-400,000 euros for a car, you want to feel it special all around, not just a pre-design. And with this, they nailed it really, really well. It looks gorgeous from the outside.
It does look from from the side 3/4 from the back. It looks a little bit flat. It's stunning, but I think it's because it's such a long car.
Exactly. Yeah, the bonnet is long, the rear end is long.
Yeah, we saw it.
We saw the coupe at Aston Martin Luxembourg a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I really loved it. I don't know
But-
why, but I had this 177 vibes from the front because it felt
Yeah.
that big and long and wide.
I think it's everything works with it. Proportions are correct, but maybe it's just a bit too big in all dimensions.
Exactly. Yeah. If you
Because it's a
well,
really big car.
if you compare it to the DBS or the DBS Superleggera, there the proportions were right. I think, even if those were already big
here too.
cars.
It's just
But here is just maybe a little bit too much. Definitely with the roof down, it feels like a really big open space somehow.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, engine-wise, crazy bunkers,
yeah, still 825 horsepower, 1,000 Newton meters,
massive.
V12, new V12 as well.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That Aston Martin is still trying to develop new engines. That we're still not having any hybrid stuff in it. It's like just raw ice power.
Yeah, that's really cool. And as well, I read the press release and it said, the Vanquish Volante,
Mhm.
it has a K-fold roof.
And what is
Oh.
a K-fold roof?
I had the same, so I
Okay.
started looking for K-fold roof. Aston Martin goes on that it stores very neatly, this and that.
Okay.
And then I looked up pictures of the K-fold roof and video of how it folds, and it just looks like a regular.
You couldn't find anything.
I couldn't find anything special, but Aston Martin are proud of it. It has its own name, or maybe it's some other invention, but it's when it's folded down, it's not tall, so it can be fully
Okay.
away. So you have a fully flat back, and
Probably it will not take too much space in the boot either.
No,
So that's the
and
thing.
14 seconds between opening and closing.
That's fast.
Yeah, it's
That's
fast.
really fast. Okay, nice. Yeah, well, maybe if it doesn't take that much place, it's really nice because in these British GT cars, definitely if you look at a Bentley Continental GTC, well, the roof does still take a lot of place.
Yeah, and especially with a hybrid system now.
With a hybrid system, and then the opening of the trunk isn't that big, so if Aston Martin fixed that kind of
Yeah,
problem,
this could be a true contender to a Continental GTC.
yeah, definitely. Okay, it's probably more it's bloody fast and probably a little bit more expensive. But if it still manages to get a lot of luggage space because it's a GT, people want to travel with it, people want to go on a holiday with it. If your partner is not able to take her suitcases with her, she might be pissed off.
Yeah, she's going to be like, no, I'm staying home.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
it's true.
But yeah, in general, still.
And you don't want to have your suitcase in the front with you.
No.
That just sucks.
No,
If
no.
you have to drive for hours with a suitcase between your legs, it
Exactly.
just sucks.
But it's still a 2+2, I suppose, in the convertible setup. So you still have
You have room in the back as well. Yeah.
room in the back, to put some stuff, or sport bags, whatever.
Yeah,
which
and
is
if
really
anything heavy, so it doesn't fly away when you're driving
Yeah, also important. I don't put any shirts.
120
or
kilometers
dresses
an hour
there.
on the highway.
But in general, it's a good looking car.
It's a great
I'm
looking
just
car.
a bit scared it's gonna be massive expensive, because the regular Vanquish Coupe is already 450,
400,
500,
yeah.
which is a lot of money for a.
True,
for
but
I
the
know
biggest
they're-
competitor, I think, is the 12 Cilindri.
Yeah,
in
correct.
this
same
segment,
same price
and it's
range.
around the same price. I do think Ferrari will sell more just because it's
That's the
Ferrari.
thing, because Ferrari. That's
Um,
that's the problem with these more niche brands, that their biggest advantage should be the price, because
Yeah.
or that people are not happy to wait 3-4 years for a
Mhm.
car.
Yeah,
But if it costs the same, then they're like, you know what, I'll wait.
but yeah, with the Vanquish, they're only making 1,000
a
or
year,
a year.
yeah,
But and I hope they can build at least 1,000 a year.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
So let's see.
Let's see what it will give. But
It's
in
still a new
general,
car.
Yeah, and looks beautiful. I just love the look, and it has that American design, I think. So for the American market,
for me, it
might be good.
traces back to the what is it, the 80s or 90s Vantage.
Yeah.
It has a really cool, distinctive style, going back to that.
But it's a style that I think Americans do appreciate.
True. Yeah. They like big cars, so
Yeah.
love this.
So I hope we will see a lot of Vanquish Volantes on the road.
And talking about things we'll see a lot on the road is what's coming up next. Lamborghini has released their sales numbers from last year,
Okay.
or delivery numbers.
Yeah.
So they delivered 1,406 units of the Revuelto,
Which is massive.
which is a lot. Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of Revueltos.
They were up by 5.7% thanks to the Revuelto, to
Wow.
10,687 units.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, it's really good. And then further sales were split between the Urus, which was down 7% to 5,662.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. There was new. There was a little bit of a gap between the old and new facelift model.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's no big deal. And then the Huracan was down, but it's end of production,
so it makes a lot of sense.
we had only 3,609, which is still a lot.
Yeah, I know they need to fill up the gap this year, because this year they only have Revuelto and Urus, because Temerario will only really get starting end of this year.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite of a different year for them. But yeah, oh damn, Revuelto is a lot, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of
It's
Revuelto.
crazy how, and it's not a cheap car. you think
No, it's also 500,000
exactly
easily.
Yeah, if you stay if you don't touch any ad personam gadgets, then yeah, it's 500, and if you touch them at ad personam goodies,
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a
then
lot
it's
of money.
easy 50 to 100,000 above,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy amount. So I'm happy that they're selling well, and I do start to like it a bit more. We start to see them on the streets, and they
True.
they
I
don't know. I kind of like them, because
Yeah.
the Aventador was such a cool thing, in my opinion. Design wise, everything
Everything's
worked
right
on that
on-
car.
Yeah,
exactly.
especially pre-facelift Aventador Roadster.
Peak.
Peak.
Oof, stunning car.
Atsuro Tetis.
Yeah, exactly. Just a regular roadster, well, a
Oh.
regular, no SVJ, no whatever. Just
No, but
a wonderful
Yeah.
Aventador Roadster is
Mhm.
still what a car.
The,
So
the,
yeah, Revuelto had a big task to do, not easy. But yeah, I'm starting to like them, and they're brutal cars. So.
the main issue I have with the Aventador, the Revuelto styling is the front bonnet. It's too big. It comes too
It
much
comes
down,
over, yeah.
and there's no front nose from front bumper. It's all bonnet,
Yeah, but that
and it looks really weird.
I've looked for it, and apparently it's because it was presented with a part of the front bumper or part, painted in black. It's the area around the headlights. But apparently you can get that painted. And when
Yeah,
it's
but
painted in the exterior color, it works
It does look better, but
better.
I mean the bonnet just goes too
Over.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, over. It's also, I know it's because the charging port is below, and they
Exactly.
want to create like a small gap where you can plug it in, which is a really clever design
It's super clever. Yeah.
because you don't see the charging port anywhere. You're
It's
like
super clean,
looking for it. And, where is it? Where is it? It's not there. It's inside. But yeah, that's the biggest issue. Not really issue, but the design wise, I think that's
You don't really like.
I don't really like it.
Okay. Well, but if you get the entire front bumper or every single high gloss black part just painted, it's gonna look much better.
Yeah.
And there,
I think DD had theirs
They've done it.
painted. Yeah,
exactly.
looks really good.
It looks so much better. But a lot of customers don't do it. No idea why. This looks a bit more sporty, I think. With
Maybe
the
it's
black.
like a standard thing that's painted black,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
they're not really that well informed that you can actually paint
Do
it
it.
body color. Could be.
Probably, I guess. But in general, lots of positive feedback around the car. Lots of good updates.
Yeah. I've heard a lot.
The only thing that was not working very well, apparently for now, was the CarPlay. But besides that, everything was
that's not an issue per se with the Revuelto. That's
that's just
Yeah.
tech issue. But in general, yeah, super cool car. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the Roadster version 2, which is not announced yet. But
No,
Lamborghini
but,
always keeps a gap in between coupes and roadsters, which I like. Because this
should
is-
be very cool.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they keep it very sexy, like the Aventador, like just with the 2 panels. Keep it simple, make it a little hardcore, but that you can keep.
They do have the opportunity to really nail it as well.
Oh yes,
especially because the back end is already open.
exactly. So they might be able to do some pretty cool
Yep.
stuff with it. I'm really looking forward to.
I
that
hope they
car.
just don't do an electric roof.
I don't think they have the space to do it. So let's hope they won't do it, and just 2 easy panels to
Yep.
to click on. So would be really really cool.
Then onto some motorsport news. We don't have a lot of news but we have some rumors now
The season
from-
is just getting started. Huh?
Yep.
So
from the. What do you say, WEC or do you say WEC?
I say I've always just been told it's whack.
Yeah, I always say WEC. You can tell us how you say it or how you think it's pronounced correctly, but I think it's also easier to say WEC than WEC,
Exactly.
especially if you have to say it a lot.
the whack.
which
The
we-
whack. The whack.
It's Peugeot news. So
Okay.
yeah, Peugeot. We've had Peugeot for a while now. Introduced the 9X8 in Monza.
Yeah.
Without a wing.
That was a beautiful car.
It's a really cool car. But the issue was that it relied a lot of on underbody downforce, and it started porpoising. So like the car
Jumping a
started
bit, yeah.
jumping, and they didn't have consistent downforce, and especially on bumpier tracks, Le Mans
Okay.
isn't very flat.
Yeah, Le Mans
to
is
be
bumpy.
honest.
Yeah, Le Mans is very bumpy.
It's public road for 80% probably. Something like that?
Yeah,
75
yeah.
something, and so they really struggled being competitive. I think they only were really competitive in Qatar, but Qatar is super flat.
Yeah.
So they ditched the no wing concept. They did a lot of upgrades before as well to improve the car, but then they said, okay, let's put a wing on it, and it wasn't as straightforward as we'll just put a wing on it and it'll be fixed. I think they redid 90% of the car.
Really, that much?
They did a new chassis as well, a whole new underfloor.
And was that really necessary?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're taking away downforce from below,
Yeah, you need to fix.
yeah, you
all
need
the
to
other.
you need to fix things in the front, things in the
Exactly.
back, and yeah. Apparently, they also redid the gearboxes because those tended to be a little bit fragile, especially in the beginning.
Okay, so a
So
lot
they-
of work on the car.
Yeah, within the homologation of the car, you're allowed to use, I think, 5 jokers.
To do some
So
really
to do
big stuff.
some Evo upgrades, as they
Okay.
say. Porsche has done a few, Toyota has done a few, Ferrari has done a few. But I believe Peugeot had used up 2 for the wingless car to
Okay,
work on
yeah.
the gearbox and some more things, and then they used 3 more to do the Evo version with the wing.
Okay.
So apparently they're now struggling with the fact that they've used up all their Evo jokers, and they're looking at maybe introducing a whole new car after 2026.
And that's they're allowed.
But yeah, the question is because the top had to be redone as well, had to be rehomologated. There's a little bit of discussion around people, like they're not sure if Peugeot has done 1 homologation for the car or if they've done 2, because the rules also
Okay.
say you can only do 2 homologations within the rule cycle.
Yeah.
But it's also because the rules have been extended to 2029 at least.
Mm-hmm.
If you now have a car that's still not very competitive,
That's a
y-
real
you're going
struggle.
to struggle in the upcoming years.
Definitely a lot. Yeah.
So they're looking into maybe getting a new car, maybe running it under Alfa Romeo.
That would make sense. But that would be costly.
Those are just rumors.
Yeah,
For if it's going to be Alfa Romeo, but there has been speculation that Peugeot is looking at a new car in 2026, which is a shame because I really like the 9X8. Even with the wing design, it was a bold thing. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as they wanted, but it's still a really cool car, and it's really cool to see it on track.
Fully agree. Okay, and when's the next race coming up?
Next race is in 3 weeks. It's in Imola.
Oof. Spicy track for Peugeot then, I suppose.
Yeah, well, with the new car, it's better.
Yeah, it's going to be better already.
And their performance in Qatar this year was also
It
quite
was
good.
okay. Yeah.
But they're hoping. I think I talked to someone, and they're internally hoping to get a podium at Le Mans.
A podium at Le Mans.
Yeah.
That's very. It's very optimistic.
Yeah, but it's,
if you see
it is telling that how they are looking at the car is that they're aiming at a podium. They're not aiming at a win.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Which
But
I think
still
a lot of-
competition is so
yeah.
strong.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I know.
Porsche, Toyota, Ferrari, just
BMW as well, actually.
BMW has grown
Yeah.
also very
Cadillac
well.
with Jota is
Cadillac
really
is
strong.
getting
If they
very
don't,
stronger.
hit
if they
each
don't
other.
hit each other.
there seems to be like a Cadillac curse because even in IMSA, there just happens all of these stupid things
Stupid
with
errors on track.
Cadillacs. Like there was also beginning of this year, I think in Road Atlanta,
Mm.
where they were very lucky not to get disqualified because at the end of the race, the final headlight went out,
Really.
and then the guy was driving in pitch black for I think like 1.5 laps.
I saw that lap and he knew the track by heart.
Yeah, it's super cool to see, and yeah, he just but yeah, they were super lucky the light went back on
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise they would have been disqualified. So that they keep running into
these
either
grey
car or
danger
driver
areas.
issues, which hopefully they'll do better at Le Mans.
Okay, but let's start with Imola then. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I love the track too. It's a fun track.
It's a cool track. Maybe too tight.
Yeah,
I
for
think that
hypercars it's not ideal because there's a lot of cars on a small track.
I think that, well, just for current days, because F1 also races there, I think it would be nice if the track got an extra 10 centimeters of width all around.
Exactly. Yeah. But I like that the gap between the hypercars and all the other cars on track is quite close to each other. So that's nice.
Yeah. It's super close racing. If
So
you
it's really
haven't,
dynamic.
if you haven't really
racing.
followed the WEC or WEC too much, but you're a real F1 fan, try it. Try the 6 hours of Imola. You don't have to watch the full 6 hours if you can't.
Just the highlights, for example,
Or
the
just
first,
like
the first 1 hour.
You do the first 1 hour. You'll get on with your day. You'll check in,
Exactly.
and yeah,
It's
go-
really fun
go-
to watch.
yeah, it's
I
really
like
fun
it.
to watch.
Yeah, the only thing I watch non-stop or I try is like Le Mans.
Yeah.
Just I go to sleep for a
But
few hours, but
To me, I try to keep it on the background all the time. I'm not watching it all the time, but I
just
really like to to hear.
The comments.
So
Yeah.
when something happens,
You know
I'm there.
it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Next topic
This is
on this
one you
week
chose.
is one I picked, indeed, because I do like colors.
And
And
this is a very good news highlight for people who are not watching.
yeah, exactly. Sorry for those people, but in general, yeah, this is nice news because Mercedes AMG extended the platform of the possibility of colors, exterior, interior, and some wheel options, which is really cool because I think Mercedes AMG, or I'm gonna say Mercedes AMG for now, was like the only one lacking this personalization possibility.
Especially compared to like Porsche, BMW.
Exactly, BMW as that BMW individual and BMW special request possibility. Since a few years, they're also communicating a lot about it.
Yep.
You're seeing a lot of cars with crazy colors everywhere on social media. Same with Porsche with their paint to sample, and since not so long ago, paint to sample plus, where you can really go all the way with what you want.
Yeah.
Which is completely bonkers. Honestly, I love it. And with Mercedes-Benz, nobody communicated about it, even if it was possible, because if you wanted a specific color on a car,
I think it was possible, but you had to have already the right dealer who
Exactly.
knew what to do, and you also had to know he had to know the right people within Manufaktur.
Yeah.
And then you also had to have deep enough pockets, because I know from a guy who worked at Mercedes, they once had a request for a Mercedes S-Class in VW white, because his Audi was white and his
Okay,
Passat was
yeah.
white.
Strange request, but normal request in general. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I think it was like 25,000 euros just to have it painted white.
Voilà, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And that's even a problem at the dealerships, because people or salesmen, they were not aware of the possibility that
Yeah,
you
and they-
could
then
do that.
They don't pursue like, hey, if you want, you can have this really nice color
Exactly.
that not a lot of people will have. So you have a very
It wasn't in their
unique
mindset yet to work on these colors, and which is quite a shame, because I do think that Mercedes maybe missed some sales on that, or was not able to compete with specific cars or models just because you weren't able to get those those specific things you wanted on your AMG, for example. So they started with the AMG GT, which is available in multiple engine configurations.
If you're not looking right now, just head to the configurator.
Exactly. Yeah, it's now live on the configurator where you can play a bit around, which
There's
is really
tons of colors.
It's really cool. Colors we've never seen before, which is really, really stunning. A few colors we've seen before, so which is really nice, but also very old classic colors. So they really worked on that heritage part, I think, which is a big step. And you even got some flashy colors again, like solar beam yellow. It's
Actually,
really fun.
the one we have here is Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Also.
So yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
solar beam is also
you can
available
still,
on
if
the
you go to
configurator.
Manufaktur, you can always get solar beam if you
can
want.
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You just have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah. They also worked on the interiors, which are now more extended in choices, and also the wheels are now, for example, possible on every single engine configuration. So
Yeah.
now you're not limited to the wheels on the 63, which you wanted on the 55, for example. Now you can get all the wheels on every single AMG GT.
Yeah, you're not
limited,
blocked by the paywall. So let's say
Yeah, exactly, which is really good. So people can go all the way. Yeah, I like it.
And I think if you have to buy a GT, or if you want to buy a GT, you don't have to, but it's a really good car.
It's a lovely car.
I think the 55 is its sweet spot. It's
Fully
powerful
agree.
enough, plenty powerful enough, and it's a lot cheaper than the 63, which just is a little bit more powerful.
But it's too much, in my opinion.
And yeah,
It's too much.
The price difference is too much, and
in general, the car is it feels like it wants to go always, whereas the 55 is
it's more of a
that
laid back cruiser.
Exactly, but still big V8 in the front.
Oh yeah,
Lovely soundtrack.
What a V8.
So in general, I think it's the better choice, and it gives you 30 or 40,000 euros space more to get a cool color or a cool interior.
Or you get a cool color, and then you go trip to the south of France, trip to Italy.
Exactly. Because these colors are not for free; they're quite expensive.
True.
But if you're already spending over 100 or in the range of 100 or 200,000 euros, then a color of 10 or 15,000 euros is really something you'd consider, I think.
Yeah, and talking of expensive things, you also have what they call now the Ultimate Pack.
Okay, and yes, indeed, and it's more track focused packs. You get ceramics, bucket seats,
and aero pack.
And okay, carbon fiber or not? No carbon fiber.
It says AMG aerodynamics pack. I should maybe do my research better next time. But it was your topic, so
it's a big spoiler. Get a big spoiler. It's a bit of tuning, but but still looks cool, and the wheels look bonkers. I like it.
Oh yeah, and you can get black calipers now.
Black calipers on ceramics.
Yeah. Well, you could, but you could only get the black calipers on the ceramics. Now you can get them on non-ceramics as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, pretty cool car. Good step from Mercedes-Benz. So they're launching it on just on the AMG GT for now. Let's hope they will extend that on several other AMGs to start with, maybe, or on the Maybach series. But Maybach was already quite. Yeah, they already had a few cool possibilities, but I think it might be a good thing to just extend it on almost all the range, or a lot of more cars with that are all already
SL
quite
to start, because
SL, S-Class in general, maybe GLS.
I think it was already quite a thing on the G-Class, but the G-Class is a very niche product. So
yeah, that's true. But even if, for example, BMW now is individual colors on the 1 Series and the 2 Series Grand Coupe, so that would be awesome to see an A-Class or a C-Class in some funky color.
Yeah, back in December in the BMW world, I saw a BMW X1 in, I think, like a Dakar yellow.
That's awesome, right? That's super cool. Yeah, because
who does this? But it's super cool to see.
It's super cool, and people are willing to spend more money on a car they really want to keep, I think.
Yeah. And also because, especially in these higher ends of the market, sales have been pushing up. So there's a lot more people driving similar cars to yours.
Yeah, so
this is the way how you differentiate yourself.
Exactly.
Because
it's that special color.
You'll be known as Rob with
the Aventure in Rood Alpina.
Yes. and not like just the other guy with the next gray GT.
Exactly. And I do like it. It's okay. It's my silly opinion, I suppose, but that in general the world needs a bit more color, because there's too much concrete everywhere around us, including buildings, roads, whatever, industry. It's all grayish. I don't like it. And if we only buy black or dark gray or silver cars, it's not gonna keep it's not gonna get the roads brighter. So buy that flashy blue or beautiful bright red.
Yeah, really do it.
Yeah, just go for a fun color. It's
do
nice.
it.
Do it now. Yeah, it's just more fun, it gives, and there's definitely people who are gonna give you a thumbs up, like, nice, I like the color you picked on the car. Cool. And that's the thing that Mercedes really missed in their current exterior color, or is still currently missing, I think, if you look at the colors of the ACE class.
They have a few good colors, but they're scarce.
Yeah, and like if you find a dark blue or dark green, you can be like super excited, because that's going to be the most spectacular color.
True, but the colors they currently have, even though they're very limited, they're very nice.
They're beautiful colors.
They're very beautiful
but
colors.
They're all a little bit sad. Are we too German?
Yeah. Okay, so F1 news.
F1 news. Yeah, we've had 2 races.
We've had two races.
Good races. I like them.
Very good.
Australia was good. Okay.
Well,
China
was a bit of a snooze fest, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's because of the track is not that exciting. That's the problem. The track has.
I've seen good races in China, but this wasn't one.
Yeah, but it's different generation of F1 cars.
Yeah, I know. No, but and by now everyone knows, if you don't know already, Liam Lawson. His time at Red Bull is over.
Exactly.
As I've seen on social media, I think it was from Racing Bulls. They said he was promoted to Racing Bulls.
That's
quite
harsh.
It's an interesting way of of announcing it.
But he does not have to struggle again in that Red Bull. Let's say it like that, because
Yeah, you could say that's a promotion. Yeah.
well, if you look at it like that, he doesn't have to struggle, and because he was struggling.
He was
with the
really
car.
struggling, and you could see him when he was in the car. He didn't have the confidence, and then he tried to overdrive it, and in the next corner he was afraid that it would kick back again. and
Exactly.
yeah, I think that it's also because maybe he wasn't prepared enough. There's also very limited testing these days, so it's very hard to get
I don't
a
think
feel of the car.
he
but-
exactly managed to get the right feel of the car in such a short amount of time.
And I think yeah, the Red Bull is just super difficult because you can say, okay, Isaac Hadjar, he performed really well and he didn't know the track in China as well.
true, exactly,
But I think maybe
because the car might be easier.
the
to
racing
drive.
bulls is probably easier to drive. But then again, yeah, it's sad. But as Christian Horner has stated in his press release, they're bringing Liam Lawson back into the racing bulls so he can get more experience. They recognize that maybe he does need a little bit more experience before he can go up to the high team and be the teammate of Max.
Makes sense.
I
Yes.
think Max has a very broad window of how he can drive a car in a super fast way.
Yeah,
Even if the car isn't to his liking, he'll still
be able to
be
get
able to
everything out of it.
and even more.
And even more, as we've seen, True.
Yeah. So now they're putting in Yuki Tsunoda. And
which is really cool. I think because
It's really cool,
were
and he
all,
yeah.
like, we wanted him to get that seat.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were shocked that he didn't have the seat from the start of the year.
I was shocked. I was like, it felt like he earned it more.
Yeah, and it when they announced it, it felt like, okay, this is his final chance to get to Red Bull is gone.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it's cool to see him.
Still be able to get that seat. So I'm really looking forward to that F1 race in Japan.
Yeah.
And apparently Red Bull got some money for it.
Yeah. So at the end of the season, Honda Yuki is a Honda driver, so they offered Red Bull $10 million to have Yuki in the Red Bull the next year. 10 million. But
It's a decent
Red
amount.
Bull refused. They wanted to put in Liam because they saw something in the data, or I don't know what the reasoning is.
Yeah, might be weird. Yeah, we'll never know, I guess.
But apparently after China, they had a meeting and then they went back to Honda and they were like, "Is this offer still on the table?" And Honda was like, "Yes, but only if he can start from Japan."
Really cool. Okay.
Because it'll give us such a big marketing opportunity to have
Absolutely.
Yuki in
And
the
that's
Red
why
Bull.
this decision was probably made
Quite fast, yeah.
Because I was thinking that it would be like somewhere just before summer or something like that. They would be like, okay, no, guys, this ain't working, but maybe
Yeah.
with the decision on the table like
But
that.
Yeah, Christian Horner also said that they have to make this decision fast because they cannot afford to lose points in the manufacturers championship.
Because they want to win the
Yeah.
manufacturer championship.
It's what everyone expects from Red Bull.
That is the only thing they're really struggling on. So Max carrying a team by himself is not ideal.
No, but yeah. Let's see. I'm really interested. I think Yuki hinted in the post-season test that he really liked the RB20 and he really liked the driving style of it. So
Okay.
if it's not that different to last year's car,
Then it might be
it might
a
work.
good fix.
But we'll have to see this week in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be good. That's gonna be a cool race.
It's gonna be-
I love the track, so
Yeah.
track is really spectacular.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
so now we're moving into what we've done this week. I went to a Heritage Lancia event,
Okay, nice.
which so Lancia Belgium organized this. They're pushing the Y into the market right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was invited to drive Lancias from the 50s up to 80s, 90s.
okay.
So there was
Really to drive them.
yeah,
And
actually
where-
actually drive
And
them.
where did they get these cars from then?
They just called the owners they know from, I think it's the Lancia Owners Club.
Okay.
And like, yeah,
Cute.
would you be so kind and yeah, let a few journalists drive your car? And they're like, okay, sure. So they found 5 people, an Aurelia convertible,
That's a pretty car.
very
Also
pretty
really
car,
cool. Yeah, very
Delta
nice.
Integrale, Flavia, Fulvia, and a Thema.
Okay.
Really cool cars. I started off with the Aurelia convertible. Super nice car. It's quite difficult at first if you've never driven with a manual on the steering column.
I haven't, so no idea.
It's super weird. So because you have to push up to first, and then you push down to second, and then you go back up, and so suddenly it hits third, and it's a very interesting way of operating a
Okay.
gear stick. It's a really cool car. And unfortunately, after like half of my drive, it did a typical Lancia thing and it broke down.
And what happened to the car or something? You
No,
it was
well,
your fault.
At first, I felt very guilty because I was like, oh my god, this can't be my fault.
First drive.
Yeah, because I was the first person who drove the car, and the owner said, no, it's not. But it did seem like something just came loose within the driveline,
Okay.
because every time you got onto power, it's like there was a weird sound, and
Doesn't sound good.
the owner wasn't very comfortable with driving further. So I thought, okay, I'll jump into
Exactly.
the crew car, and then we only had 4 cars left.
Okay, that's a shame. But still you were able to drive it, so it's nice.
It's a
Bad luck for the rest.
It was a really cool car, but yeah, it also meant because we had 4 cars, then I failed to drive with the Delta and the Flavia, unfortunately. But
Okay.
the one I got to drive and the one which I was most excited to drive is the Thema 8.32.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know this car, but
I have no. I know
I-
a Thema, but what's so special about this one?
I saw it on the list of cars, and I was like, oh my god, this is a car that I've loved since I was young.
Okay, and why?
And even back then, it was like quite an old car already,
Mhm.
because I think it's from the 90s, so it's probably from before I was born. But essentially, it was a collaboration between Lancia, Fiat, and Saab.
Okay.
And it was to compete with like the BMW 5 Series, the E-Class, and Lancia came up with the Thema. And then they needed a halo car, like you have with the M5 or the E63 or E55. It was back then. I don't
Yeah,
know.
E55. Yeah.
So they were looking at engines, and they were like, yeah, within the group we have cool engine. It's from the Ferrari 308.
That's
Right,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
And
They were just laying there in a warehouse.
yeah,
somewhere in
probably
Italy,
somewhere like we don't need these. No, but actually they went a bit further and they reworked the engine. It became 32 valve, and then
Nice.
for production, Ducati actually assembled the engines.
Really
Yeah, it's
Okay. super weird, but
super weird, super cool story. But this is I have no idea how this car came to life, but it's front wheel drive.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. It's like everything, and you look at it and it's like, oh, it must be real wheel drive, but no.
It's like a Ferrari 308, but driving in reverse all the time. Then.
I think basically yeah. It's manual as well, but it's super luxurious inside. It has a little, but on the block it says Lancia by Ferrari.
Super cool.
The owner was
Really
super
cool.
cool as well. First owner still, so he bought the car.
He
new.
brought it brand new.
Yeah, brand new. He used it as a company car for a few years.
It just
Did
daily
150, 200,000 kilometers back then on it, and then put it aside. And now recently I started driving it.
Expensive.
Yeah, you have to do the belts every 30,000 kilometers, which means you have to drop the engine.
Really?
Yeah.
So engine
Yeah.
completely out.
The engine has been out, I think, 7 times already. But
Wow.
it's such a cool car. The noise and the torque from low down, it's
Yeah?
amazing. Yeah.
Because it's not that high revving, I think, or
I
7,000
I didn't
maybe,
push
or
it till the end also because they're still they're cars from customers.
exactly.
They're
Yeah,
a little bit older,
and they're
so
older, so
yeah.
you're
I didn't want to break a second
exactly.
car
You
allegedly.
already had a reputation that day, so
Yeah. No, but what a car! It's
okay.
such a cool car, and,
And
the interior
and
as
driving wise, how it drives well then.
well. It drives
Handling
really
is
well. Yeah.
good. Okay.
It's super solid, and yeah, it just has this really low end torque, and
That's
it
nice.
just pulls along. It's crazy.
Okay.
And the interior, the finish is really nice. Everything still looks really good as well.
but that's the
the-
thing with these
it's
old cars.
big-
They
Big sofa cloth seats, like
nice.
really the Italian thing. Also in the back, it looks super nice. And also the cool, and that's why for me when I was a little kid, the thema stood out, is the rear wing. It
Okay.
had-
What's so special about it?
Well, it had a retractable rear wing, so when it was closed, it was like
On a sedan
Yeah,
type of car.
yeah.
Okay.
so when it was closed, it was like a fully flat surface, and then like it popped out. So it was basically the top end of the trunk just popping up a little bit further, and then you have some new trunk. So someone in Italy must have thought, we have too much trunk space. Let's reduce the trunk space and put a spoiler that moves
But
out.
that's like typical Italian, like over engineering stuff.
And but it still works to this day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the owner kept it out all day, and when I was driving, I was like, "Does it still work?" And he's like, "Yep." I can see, and it goes out,
Super
and
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Then
okay,
it
that's
looks
nice.
like a regular Thema as well.
That's really cool.
It's super cool. So yeah, that was my my week in cars. I then got to drive the Ypsilon for the rest of the week.
And I honestly, I drove it for 10 minutes too. And that little Ypsilon is a really funky car.
It's a really nice
I
car,
was really surprised.
and I think the price wise, it's also a really good deal.
But I have no idea what it is.
It's starts at 24, and the one we drove was 25,000 euros.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is in today's money.
It's a really good value, especially for how well it's finished inside. Because
it looked really good and everything
Yeah.
rolled.
that's
really
what
well.
I think they're still struggling a little bit to position Lancia. Is they have so many brands now, Stellantis,
Exactly.
and everyone is a little confused of what it's doing. Lancia basically is the luxury end of the segment for the whole Stellantis brand.
Really?
So
for the entire range
It's a
of models?
premium, yeah.
Okay.
And Alpha is also premium, but it's premium sport, and then Lancia is more premium luxury.
Okay. Okay.
But
fine.
next year they should be bringing out the Gamma, and then the year after the Delta again. So
The Delta is coming back.
don't know in what form, but
I hope they won't.
I hope they
mess
don't-
it up.
yeah, they don't do a Ford with the Capri or with the
Yeah.
Mustang.
Oh no, please no. Okay, so that's gonna be waiting for now.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, that little Lancia.
It's a very good
it's-
car.
it's a-
You'll see the review soon on AutoNext.
Okay. Noted.
And then you did something as well that
Yeah.
I'm very,
I
very envious about.
I drove a pretty cool car. One I was really looking forward to. Porsche 997.2 GT3. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, when you texted me like I'm driving this on Saturday, I was like, but I can't come on Saturday. Oh.
Yeah, really incredible. It was everything I expected from it, and even better.
Really?
The thing is, I've been lucky enough already to drive a lot of cool cars, a lot of GT3s, but more newer or recent models, like 991, 991.2, 992 GT3s, and they're all super cool. You know, it's still benchmark 911. A GT3 is for me still the coolest thing you can buy. Okay, an RS might be cooler, but if you want to use it for the road and just go for cool trips, the GT3 is still,
Especially if it has manual.
definitely with a manual gearbox indeed, or a touring, you know, it's close to perfection. And then indeed a common friend of ours, Wouter, he bought himself this car, I think
2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago now. Yeah, I searched quite. It was an entire story about how he found the car and everything. And he went also with me for the ride. because I wanted him to share his story on the camera and stuff, which is really cool.
He's super passionate about the car. The review is coming up this week.
Yeah, he's a real car guy. He's like the OG car guy. He also had a C6G 204. So
same as you.
Same as me. So he knows his cars. And this was the bucket list car, which is really cool. So and honestly, I just after 200 meters, I already understand like why it was so special.
Really.
Everything about it is so pure, from the way you turn the steering wheel, the clutch that's heavy as a truck, the sound of that Mezget engine, which is all the time there.
The water cooled converted air cooled engine.
Yeah, it's
from with motorsport heritage.
Yeah, it's Le Mans.
It's Le Mans.
So
Le Mans
it's insane that you have that in a road legal car. I loved it. It felt very special the way it sticks on the road. It gives so much confidence. Okay, we didn't drove on a track, but just I felt really at ease with it. You learn to appreciate everything about it. Really loved it. It's gonna be an awesome review.
It's really cool, and I'm really glad you're saying these things, because this is like, if I have the money to buy one tomorrow, I'm buying one. It's my dream car to own.
I understand now. I understand.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping maybe if we see each other again, Wouter, and you have the GT3 with you, maybe lend it to me 5-10 minutes, please.
It's a very cool thing.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's a peak 911.
And if you look at today's prices, I'm not gonna say bargain because it's still a lot of money. It's
a lot of money. Yes.
But you find a pretty one, a very pretty one around 130, for example,
which is a lot less money than a new GT3
or than a regular 911, because a regular 911 is
even
also
a regular 911. But if you're comparing like GT3s,
well, it's 100,000 less.
Yeah,
almost.
It's more, because I think the new one starts at 240.
Yeah, 230 or 240.
Yeah, and then you don't have options.
No,
and Porsche's so good with options.
Exactly.
So, you start and you don't know where you end, and
exactly.
You can get
this. You can get such a special car, and it's very rare. They've only made 2,500 cars or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's super
sad that they
exclusive.
didn't make that much. They should have made more.
Yeah, but it's just the production run was not long. I think 2-3 years.
Yeah,
so
and
the production run was very short,
and the demand wasn't there like it is now.
Exactly. No, the demand for these cars was not like today, which makes them very exclusive. But people don't make that. Yeah, just don't make that link or that switch in their head because it's not numbered or anything.
Yeah, it was never advertised as we've made this much cars or we're going to make these.
Exactly. So people are not aware of how exclusive it actually is.
Which is good.
Which
so
is
it keeps
for
the
us.
value steady.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Wouter bought it at 110 or something like that, and now the car is around 130. So
it's a really cool car.
Yeah,
and it's a really cool spec as well. You'll
for
see
the
in the
value
video.
and for the price you pay, I think you get something that is very close to real driving experience.
No.
And very solid. The engine is super solid.
So if cars because I know what your dream car is within this budget, I'll ask you this: this or an R8?
The thing is, you can't get this in a convertible, and I want a convertible.
Okay. See, I thought that was going to be what pushed you over the line, but
it's the reason. I think I do love the GT3. It's so spectacular, but I enjoy driving a convertible so much that.
Fair enough, yeah.
And a Speedster is completely out of budget, so.
Yeah, but still, if you think you could get a, I don't know what the prices are for a 997 Speedster, and I've never driven one. But a 991
Speedster, they're about 300, I think.
But and a 991 Speedster is about 300 as well.
Yeah, a little bit more.
So
you
could get
configuration.
If you're convertible, and you could get the perfect 911.
Mm-hmm.
For the price of a new GT3 RS, right? For a price less than a new GT3 RS.
Yeah, new GT3 RS will be more expensive. Yeah,
So
they're
it's
350.
it's crazy how people are still paying these, because Wouter actually has said this as well. He had this internal fight in his head, of like, oh, chasing the new stuff,
Exactly.
and then
But,
he bought the 997, and yeah, his friends in the group, they're buying all these crazy cars like 296 GT3 RS, and so forth and so forth, and every time he comes back to his car when he's driven the cars from his mates, he's like, I don't get it. Like,
But
I want to keep this.
exactly.
He's
Wout-
done
Wouter is
chasing.
not chasing indeed, and some people are, which is also fine, and
It's fine, yeah.
and I do understand, because it's probably people with more money.
Maybe
Who-
also has to do, but also
And they're just triggered to find out, what's the next best thing, what's the next best thing.
and yes, yeah,
And then I do understand somehow.
yeah,
But then it's not about how exciting is this to drive, and
Mhm.
how do I feel as a driver, and how big is my smile on my face.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want.
yeah. There are some people who just they enjoy getting the latest new thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is also
It's
I
the
do
same.
understand
They'll
completely.
buy the latest new iPhone every year it comes
exactly
out.
same story.
It's the same,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine. If we don't have we don't want to say how you need to spend your money.
And we
You-
don't
you-
have the budget to play that game either.
we don't have the money, no, but you have to spend your money how it makes you happy, and if that makes you happy, then
And I do understand if you have
No-
every
no one should-
generation, for
yeah.
example, and you just want to step up your game, then yeah, the latest thing is
Mhm.
the thing, is the car that you want.
yeah, we won't criticize you if you get a new GT3 RS, just to be it's a
Oh,
stunning
that's good.
car.
Buy it, buy it. We
Um,
need more cars like this on the road. So.
yeah, just don't get black wheels. Okay, but what a car.
I love that. So the review is going to be really fun. Wouter is going to share his entire story of the car, the stuff he's doing with it, track days,
Yeah.
getaways with the kids.
Yeah,
like-
he's really like
Yeah,
showing the kids the love for cars.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice. So even I had to help him with some logistic stuff after the video, and I was like, yeah, can you take my daughter with you in the car, because we need to drop her off there and
Yeah.
there. So and the girl's like, oh, can I go in the Porsche? Super cute. They know how special it was,
Yeah.
and that's really nice. That it's already somehow integrated in their family.
After you finished watching the video, you can go to Wouter's Instagram, and he has a full in detail explanation about the Metzger, and
Exactly. Yeah.
especially the 3.8 that is in his car.
Yeah.
So it's really
worth
interesting.
watching. Yeah. And of course, you'll be able to follow his wonderful adventures with the kids and the car. So it's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun stuff.
yeah. He's not an influencer, but he just wants to share.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And love
it-
for the
yeah,
message.
and he doesn't post a lot, but when he posts, it's really nice.
Indeed. So that was a wonderful car. I loved it. Yeah.
Let's get to some more debate topics.
Some more modern
So
stuff. Yeah.
some more ranting from us,
Right.
which you'll all love. Are electric performance cars starting to become exciting? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's a bit of the problem. They're exciting, but not on the long term.
Yeah. It rubs off pretty quickly. Like, I can't say for sure about a Nevera because I've never driven a Nevera, and
Same.
yeah, I'll be lucky if I ever get to drive one in my lifetime. But yeah, it's apparently these cars are stunning. But
People who buy them and own them really love them.
Yeah.
But I do think that
it's a different type of customer.
it's a different type of customer, because the people who are able to buy these cars or are able to spend like a lot of money on a car, in general, they're not 20 years old, so they grew up with screaming V12s, V10s, V8s, and they want, if they have the money today, they want a car that's similar to those they grew up with. Like, I don't know, what can you buy? Like, indeed, a Tourbillon or a Revuelto.
Yeah,
or-
Revuelto
or a big screamy V12 Ferrari engine. That's if you have the money today, that's the stuff you
SP3.
buy. Exactly. And then you're not gonna look for the fastest car on the world because it's not the car you grew up with.
No.
And there might be some people on Earth who just want the fastest thing there is, and then indeed you get to something electric and Nevada or something else. Electric doesn't matter, which is also fine. But I don't think there are 1,000 people on Earth like that. For
No,
now.
no,
They might come,
there's far few.
but they're not there yet, and that's why the we don't are getting that excited from these cars, because it's not the kind of cars we grew up with.
True, but I also think it probably has to do with just like how the cars are being set up most of the time.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah, because the highest performance electric car I've ever driven was the pre-facelift RS e-tron GT.
Wonderful car.
Wonderful car. It's like so impressed by the car. It charges really fast. Everything is super well done. But at the end of the week, I was like, I can get the same handling options as on the RS in a regular e-tron. And spend 40,000 euros less. And
so why would you buy the RS?
And the performance factor was already rubbed off. Like it's fast but becomes very quickly very old.
I understand, but it's a bit of a thing. We get used to these acceleration feelings real quick, and at first it's like really cool because it's exciting and it's new and we haven't experienced it before. So yeah, we're like, oh my god, this is so much fun. But human nature we as human, we get used to stuff real quickly. And definitely if it's more related to tech or some kind of acceleration feeling, the first 3 times it's like very impressive, and it's mind-boggling fast, and you're like super excited to do it again. But it's not a feeling that will remain, because you will know, it doesn't touches you in a way that you want. And it's very silly, but it's the same if you buy a new iPhone or something new.
You'll be excited, or it's like,
exactly.
It's a new update and it has these new things,
exactly.
and then
it's special for a week, and then after a week, like
you get
fine,
used to it.
Used to it. You get a scratch on it, you don't care anymore. So that's a bit of the problem with these electric cars, I think, that they're not special in many different ways than just acceleration wise or number.
It's a bit of a lot of them, they're like one-trick ponies, and I'm not saying this is a performance car, but where it has been done really well, in my opinion, is the G580e. Because to me, in the week I drove it, the acceleration never really got old. It's not very fast, but
it's
the way it needs to manage its power means that every time it'll do a little bit differently. So it'll be a little bit faster or a little bit slower, and
it stays playful.
It stays playful, and it's also because the battery, it's a very, very heavy battery, and the center of gravity is really low in the car, and it's a really enjoyable car. And there's this, I know it's fake, and I'm the first one to shoot any manufacturer for incorporating fake sound if it's done badly.
Correct.
But it's done very well. It's very, very on the back end. So with normal driving, you're never getting tired of it, because there's so many cars where it's like, and it's like, what, dude? No one wants that. And with the G, it was just, it's you can hear it, it's there, but it's not overpowering.
Okay, then
and
it's good.
If you're running with music on, it's not overpowering your music as well. It works really well, and the sound that they developed, I told you before, it's better than the sound they developed for the S63, which is
that's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Indeed, No, but it works really well, and I think the problem is that all these performance cars, or like the RS e-tron GT, they have to have 1,000 horsepower, and then they want to have the fastest numbers as well, so they'll fit the biggest tires that are possible to fit under the car. And you're just launching yourself away without much drama.
Yeah,
And
there's no drama.
And I think it would be better because, yeah, if you have just smaller tires and the same horsepower, or you can fit smaller tires and less horsepower.
Well, a car like that I really loved, it's not there anymore today, but it's like just a silly BMW i3.
Oh yeah.
The way it drives, and
especially
and
the i3S.
the S is superb.
Yeah.
It feels like a go-kart. It has that BMW typical driving experience. You know, it's rear-wheel drive. It feels nimble. You know, it does everything very well. Okay, people might shoot me on the looks. It's not the prettiest car in the world, but
no. But if you also
side.
get behind why it looks that way,
exactly, then it's fine.
because the way it has like the awkward window is to have children look outside,
Exactly.
so they don't get car sick. And yeah, I think, and I still stick to it to this day. The interior is one of the nicest interiors ever developed.
And it still looks really good these days.
It's super funny because when I was in Singapore 2 years ago, they were doing a tour with the Vision D, and then they had the interior designer there, and I was talking to him, and we got on to somehow we ran into the conversation of, you know, what I really like is like the i3 interior, and I was like, really? Yeah. It's just I become so calm. It's the most zen interior ever. It's like, really? I designed that one.
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool.
But even today, if you see a BMW i3, that interior has aged super well.
Yeah,
looks still
and
up to date.
As well with the i3, it has the skinny tires. So
Super small,
that
Bike
again,
tires.
you're exploring the levels of grip in a safe way.
Exactly.
It's not a bad car as like it'll flip you off the road.
No, but you feel when there's no.
But
when
yeah,
you're on the limit.
just the performance is. Maybe a car can be more exciting with less performance, where you're
I do think so, but it's a numbers game. If you're if you're at the bar with your friends, you're like minus 925 horsepower.
Yeah, and
that's pretty cool number, you know.
And yeah, I think if
drive
we're
an
talking
i3.
about like the Boxster that should be coming out and the Cayman, the electric ones,
I don't think want 300 horsepower. Then you want like 500-600, no, because that's cool.
Yeah, indeed, it's not going to sell well with a paper saying it's making 300 horsepower. Maybe they should just say it has 1,000 horsepower, and then in reality it has 300 horsepower.
Then fine, huh?
Yeah.
People will find it cool. But
they're not Italian, so they can't lie.
That's true. So yeah, these cars, I don't know. It's not easy, but in general they're super exciting, but they won't be exciting for that long. Because
I think we should drive the Ioniq 5N, because that's one we haven't driven yet.
Apparently it's a very fun car.
It's apparently it's a very fun car. So we should hit up Hyundai and at least have it for a week as well. So
yeah, to really live with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very silly, but for example, my very old C-Class with its big engine in it. Yeah, it's a car that's today it is slow. It's not a fast car. You know,
true.
Every single electric car is faster.
But it feels fast, and that's the
fast,
thing.
But just the way, okay, I have a physical key, so I'm very old school then. But just turning it, the ignition on, and then that V8 that fires up, that's the emotion. That's the.
I think that's also just part of
the entire
the interaction you have with the car, because in a lot of cars, I think like if it's a Polestar, I'm not sure if it's Hyundai as well. You just open the door.
Yeah.
You don't even have to take the you don't even have to take the key out.
No,
so
and just
the door opens and you sit,
put it in D,
and then you can start driving. And there's
nothing. There's no contact moment
No.
with the car, you know, and that's
Yeah.
such an important thing.
I think it's such an important thing just to get a connection with the car. It's not hard to turn a key.
No, it's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But it
and
makes
also
the entire experience.
Yeah, it's also something I had with the Lancia. Just going a little bit off topic here.
Mhm.
but it wasn't a keyless car, so you had to get the key out, open it, and then you keep it in your hands. And yeah, should I put it back in my pocket?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'll leave it somewhere in the car,
Somewhere,
and then
yeah.
it's just rattling about, and then you forget about it
Exactly.
because it's not there's no fixed place.
for that
Yeah.
key.
I mean, this is from the one it's like a fairly modern key,
Yeah.
but it has its place in the dashboard,
exactly.
and it's fine there. And the battery will charge there as well, so it'll never run out. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good thinking from the BMW at the at the time too. So yeah, and but it's the entire driving. For example, electric doesn't have gears, so also it
no,
just
but Ford has this week made a patent for a manual gearbox for an electric car.
okay.
So I think
That might be
we'll
interesting.
we'll have to see
That might be really cool.
within the next 5 years how it's developing.
But for now, it's a thing. If
Yeah.
you want that connection with the car, it's with a manual transmission, or just
True.
where you can feel
Mm-hmm.
the car is running through some gears. You know,
Yeah.
with the C class also, it goes, and then it's not the fastest gearbox in the world, so then it slaps into the other gear, and then it goes again. So
Boing.
that's nice.
Yeah.
And also when you turn it off, tick 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 in the exhausts.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it's all these small things that you don't find in these high performance electric cars that gives you that sparkle as a driver.
Yeah, true.
And I also do think that when you open the garage or you're just sitting in front of it, you're like, okay, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
you need to have that
Mhm.
that moment of magic before you just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
for a
yeah.
drive. And it's something that that manufacturers in general need to search for. Okay, so where's the sparkle? Where's that moment?
true.
Which is not easy. I'm really not. I don't
No,
know.
no.
But
We're,
it's
yeah, we're
really
not
not
saying
easy, but
like if you want to achieve this, you have to do this. It's all testing, and also the market wants this, but they also want completely the opposite. So
yeah, market is not
it's
easy.
very difficult. But yeah, final topic for today
Final topic for
is
today.
the invasion of China.
Invasion.
Yeah. So
Alright. It's
maybe the reason why this is happening is
That's quite obvious, though.
well people just think China wants to take over the world, this and that.
Unfortunately, not.
But I was invited by a Chinese car manufacturer last year to go and see the cars they're building, and
Okay.
they have right now done their market introduction in Belgium as well.
And what was the brand?
It's cherry.
What?
Cherry so it's like
Cherry, like.
the fruit, but with one R.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you call it sherry or
Sherry.
but you really get a good look behind what is happening there, and their market is struggling a little bit right now.
The Chinese market.
Just not cars in general, just the global Chinese market has been struggling
Okay.
a little bit, and there's not as much growth anymore. People have become really conscious with their money after COVID.
I heard
because,
that. Yeah, definitely the
the-
younger generation.
The way Chinese people they just spent their money all the time, and they didn't really ever think about, oh, what if this happens, then I won't have any money, because there wasn't really like government support, or that there wasn't that many government support if you lost your job.
Okay.
And so now they're struggling to sell watches, cars,
really? Anything?
anything.
Okay.
Especially that's luxury. People really think twice about it, and so to compensate it, the Chinese brands, which they've always done very well in their own market, they now have to move on to different markets. And
That's the
so
thing.
that's why they're coming to Europe, and also these are coming to Belgium as well.
Which makes sense, because
Yep.
it's not that they want to bring their cars to Europe, it's because no one or
Yeah.
less people are buying them in their home market.
Yeah, so
But they
to
don't
just
want
keep the status
production
quo and the
on-
production, and not have people lose their job,
Exactly.
they need to expand into different markets.
Which makes a lot of sense, but
Mhm.
it's something that our European manufacturers
Yeah. But
are not extremely happy with.
no, but and I think we've always had like this thing about the Chinese cars. They're all just copies of the cars we
It
make.
used to be like that.
They used to be.
I remember it was this is a funny story. I used to remember when I was a kid, I used to go with my dad to all the motor shows we could. So we did a lot of definitely the Geneva Motor Show we did every year when it used to exist back then.
Yeah.
Now we're old people and it doesn't exist anymore. And there you could really see like some kind of Chinese invasion where like they went all over the place with like massive group of people
Yeah,
and just
writing
write
everything.
everything, taking pictures of everything, measuring every part of the car, going underneath the car, where even people on the stand were like, "Is this normal? Should we do something about it?" And then again, a very fun like Range Rover launched the or Land Rover the Evoque,
The Evoque, yeah, and then
and then 6 months or a year later you had the Chinese version of Evoque.
Yeah,
That
true.
today is not the case anymore.
well,
Or
in some
not in the
like
cars that we have here.
I come back to that. The cars they drive really well, and
Okay.
they're priced super well. Like right now, there's the Omoda 6 and the JQ7,
Mm-hmm.
which we have here on the market. And I think the JQ7, it's quite a big car, and it's like 37,000 euros.
Okay.
And I think in the hybrid version you can get 1,100 kilometers out of the tank.
Whoa.
With
It's really not bad.
it's a hybrid, so you have 100 kilometers electric range,
Electric
or
and
90,
then
90 to 100
almost
kilometers,
1,000 kilometer on the fuel tank.
and 1,000 kilometer on the fuel
Wow.
tank. It's a really impressive car. They're not, they don't drive like crap. Like,
I haven't driven
they-
any, but I hear a lot of good stuff on
well,
these Chinese
yeah,
cars.
the issue with going to China as a European is you don't have your license, your driving license isn't recognized. So
Okay.
we had to drive on
A closed terrain or
close terrain, but they set up some handling courses, and yeah, I really just, even if it's not a sporty car, I just want the best way to see if it's quality is by the handling, and yeah, everything works really well, and safety system, traction control, stability control, they all work very well, even if you over push, and
Okay.
and you can really get you can get close to the cone and like not hit it, and that's
Nice.
how I know if I screwed up or if I didn't.
Yeah.
So like if I turn and I hit the cone and I was like, I shouldn't have hit the cone, then I
Mhm.
know it's not my
Exactly.
fault. But if I over try and then hit the cone, then okay, it's my fault. And inside the interior, the finish is there. We'll have to see how it handles some proper use.
Yeah, of course.
But in some places you can still see there's this, especially in the interior design, there's still this European influence.
Okay, but it's good, I think.
Like from these cars, I got from the interior, I got a strong Mercedes vibe. But then again, if you're looking at a car and you have a lower budget, wouldn't you want to have a car that from the
Feels-
outside looks on its own, but does have like similar looks on the interior and the
and
way
the
where
same-
you're
and the
sitting
same
to
features too.
a luxury car. Yeah, and they have so many features.
Yeah, like it's silly, but a heated steering wheel or a panoramic roof.
Yeah.
Or
Heated seats, ventilated seats, and some.
Yeah, stuff like that.
This is in the Chinese market. It's called the Exceed, but I think it's coming here to be the Omoda 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit lost, and I told them as well.
In their
Na-
naming.
naming
Yeah, it's
is-
this complicated, honestly.
It's a bit complicated. Really good car. And
Okay.
it's like it's not GLS big. It's like GLE big, but
It's still a big car.
and it's a bit marked as like executive because you can have the passenger seat go fully forward and have a very big leg space
cool.
in the back.
Okay, nice.
So
And
I
prices for that car or
think, haven't been released
okay, so
here
let's
yet.
wait for it.
So
But it looks
it should come out this summer in
really okay,
in
okay,
Europe
okay.
as well. So I think they're really pushing, and yeah, we've seen a lot of other cars that maybe haven't come to Europe yet, but are coming to America or whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think we should be really scared of what is not as a consumer, but like manufacturers, they should be really scared of what's coming, because these cars.
Yeah, the only thing that is holding back some people is indeed now it's Chinese, so we don't know yet. So what is it like, and the quality, and we're a bit scared of it.
But
And also in
the
leasing-
rate of progress is nuts.
Yeah, that is insane.
If you see where they come from within a few years, it's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, the quality steps, the design that really
And,
matches more with
And I
what
went
we
to the
like.
I went to the factory
Mhm.
last year as well. They showed, and the welding, everything is fully automated.
Okay.
And then like general assembly, it's top notch. And it's really impressive. And
It's a bit scary, yeah. Somehow, because I
For-
do
for-
like
for-
our
for-
European brands so much.
I think they should watch out. And
But it might be a good wake up call. For,
yeah.
for our
I think a
for
lot
our
of
European
manufacturers
brands
are
that are
going to
like-
wake up.
I hope so, and that they're waking up on time and not when it's gonna be too late for them. Because Volkswagen might be closing a few factories because
Yeah, they were announcing to close
They-
3.
something like that. Yeah, because they just didn't listen to the
Mhm.
customer. Or just
And now the Chinese are like, oh, you have 3 nice empty factories. So if we buy those from you, then we can assemble our cars in Europe, and we can get around the tariffs.
yeah, then it becomes scary.
So you see how well they pick into opportunities, and they're not to be messed with.
yeah,
They won't play nice. They're just they want to sell,
that's
So-
the thing. They just want to sell.
Yeah. and
And
they
if
want
they
to
see an
give you the
opportunity-
best product. They want to give the best product on the market for the lowest price.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Bam.
Yeah.
I think it's scary. I think it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
scary, honestly.
Yeah, but
I've never
I'm-
driven
I'm
a
very
Chinese
interest-
car,
yeah.
so I can't judge on the quality and stuff, and I'm pretty
maybe
sure.
let's try and get you in one, shall we?
Yeah, but in my mind, I'm just gonna not like it because it's
No, but we'll give you one for a week, and then you can give your verdict.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
Yeah. I'll try and reach out to my contacts.
would be really funny. Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
scared for it.
Okay. so on that note, I think we've discussed a lot. So it was really interesting again. If you have some comments, or what is your opinion about the Chinese or the new colors, or anything basically?
Just let us know. It would be cool to get some
Yeah, and
some
if
feedback from you guys.
if you're an owner of a cool car, or just like if it doesn't have to be a cool car,
Just
if
have a nice story to tell.
if you have a nice story to tell about your car, hit us up on social media or via email, and
Definitely.
yeah, maybe we can also review your car and do something similar like we did with Wouter, because I think
Those are the stories that
he enjoyed it and we enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And those are the stories people are looking forward to
Yeah.
hear. So
Let us
Indeed.
know, and we'll see you in the next episode.
thank you.
Bye.